WoW Remix, Mists of Pandaria is here. This is your time-running Pandemonium event, and we're about to time run through this content. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I think it means for the future of WoW and leveling in general, because this is a WoW leveling event. Yeah, get your alts ready. Here we go. Relive the epic adventures with an all-new event arriving in 10.2.7 called WoW Remix, Mists of Pandaria. Experience the wonders of Pandaria anew, but with fresh new loot and unlimited powers. This is interesting. So this is the new time-running Pandemonium event. We kept talking about what it could be, what it couldn't be. It's not an actual in-game event. This is another separate Plunderstorm, click on the different logo at the top of your screen and make a new character event. The difference here is this new character you make is going to transfer over to your real account, to your actual retail WoW account when this is all done. With World of Warcraft Remix, it is a time-limited event which allows players to re-experience the entirety of Mists of Pandaria expansion at an accelerated rate, leveling 10 through 70 all through Mists of Pandaria. So what is this going to bring you? This is going to bring you accelerated leveling and content, allowing you to take on nearly every quest, scenario, dungeon, and raid. You create a new WoW Remix character. You start leveling at level 10 at adventure through up to level 70. A mountain of loot. Get powerful items from everywhere. Quests, chests, creatures, and bosses. Customizable items allowing you to power up as fast and far as you would like to go through tougher content. Convert unwanted items into bronze, which can be used to upgrade the current items you have, and keep what you have collected. Yeah, that's right. Everything you collect in this will go on to your retail account. That means transmogs and mounts and everything else, including the character that you level up to level 70, will transfer over to your account for the start of the war within. I'm not sure what exactly this all means. So this is like a leveling revamp beyond a leveling revamp. This basically allows you to level through a single expansion, all the way from 10 to 70. I feel like this is something WoW is going to continue to do. Remember just yesterday we were talking about the issues with leveling, how weird the whole thing is going from classic through all these expansions and up. Now Blizzard's tried to rework some of the leveling experience, allowing you to pick which expansion you level through and everything. This seems to be like a complete change to that, and that we're not going to let you pick an expansion or anything. We're just going to give you one expansion and you do all of your levels through that expansion, well, at least 10 through 70. I think this will allow people to basically go to that new island, level up to level 10, and then pick an expansion if this is how they started doing leveling. I don't think this is going to change how they do leveling in general. I think they're just going to do this event every single expansion to allow people to just boost level alts if they want to do that. So how's this leveling content going to work? With WoW Remix, you're basically going to go, as I said earlier, from 10 to 70. This includes raids. So we're going to redo the Mogushan Vaults, Heart of Fear, Terrace of the Endless Springs, Throne of Thunder, one of the better mounts ever added to the game, Siege of Orgrimmar as well, and heroic raids. Yeah, so getting in and doing all the raids once again. Create your new identity. As I said, you are not going to do this event with your characters that you currently have. You are going to make a new character, but you'll be able to make modern day characters. So all the races even that weren't available in Mists of Pandaria, you want to make a Culturian or a Zandalari Troll, all the classes that weren't available back then as well. You want to make a Demon Hunter or something, all of it's going to be available, but all of it is going to be now in Mists of Pandaria. So you're going to do all that leveling through Mists, make your character, and that character will transfer over once again to your retail regular account as the War Within goes live. New loot, new you. Yeah, so there's these new gems that people are going to be collecting. This is all about being overpowered. This entire event is going to be about leveling up in a god mode, right? So you're going to be just walking around, bitch slapping everything, helicopter dicking your way around through the Mists of Pandaria. These gems that they're adding to the game are these new socketed gems that you're going to be able to use, and really what they look like is a redo of anima powers. That's kind of what it looks like. Going back to Torghast, I know that hurts people's minds to even think about, but these things honestly remind me of that. A lot of these powers, if you read up on them, they seem like these really overpowered godlike abilities. I look at this one. If you get Oblivion Spear, you coalesce into an orb of pure void that increases critical strike damage taken by enemies within 15 yards by 50% for 10 seconds. After 4 seconds, the orb explodes, inflicting shadow damage. All these gems do this kind of stuff. One of them, I think, transforms you into a lightning ball. Yeah, here. Thundering Orb. You turn into a Thundering Orb, inflicting nature damage to everything within 30 yards. Lots of big AoE abilities here. Lots of big spammy pull abilities where you'll be able to pull mobs from the entire region, just wail them down, destroy them. A lot of this stuff has to do with, again, just becoming fully overpowered. Now, what else are we going to get from this event? Really cool transmogs and mounts that are going to be available in the game if you get them in this Remix event. They're also talking about this being the Bronze Age. And what that means is if you're getting gear or anything else that you don't seem to like, you'll be able to turn it in for bronze. And then you can use it to purchase class transmogs, Mists of Pandaria mounts, toys, or use it to upgrade the armor that you are currently using in this Remix event. So another thing about this remix event is redoing the raids, right? They're reopening all the raids. You're going to be able to do them all. And they're bringing back scrolls, raid scrolls. So if you don't know what these are, these basically allow you to not have to bring certain classes, right? Who knows how many people are going to be doing this, what classes are going to be available for the raid. These are basically class buffs that you'll be able to give to the raid via these scrolls. So if you don't have a certain class or whatever, you can fill that in by doing these. You can get your haste buffs, your intellect buffs, everything that you can get from a usual class, you can buff with these different scrolls. Now let's look at some of the loot we're going to get from this thing, because if you're a retail Andy, this is probably the only thing you really care about. Unless you really do want to level an alt, this is probably going to be the best way ever to do it. So let's look at the Pandaria Remix mount rewards. Looking at some of these mounts, a lot of these are recolors. Some of them maybe are new skins on different on old skin mounts. But of course we see the Reigns of the Astral Emperor's Serpent. Yes, a golden boy. We get the golden Astral Cloud Serpent. This is probably going to be a fan favorite. The Cloud Serpent, especially the spectral one, is always really nice. We got a gliding crane here, a bunch of different colorways of the crane mounts. We also see discs. Okay, a couple discs. These are new. A golden disc. Okay, Missa Pandaria. Yeah, very Pandaria-esque looking disc mounts. I've never been a big fan of the disc mounts, but a couple new goat mounts. Yeah, so a couple new interesting looking goat mounts that we're going to get as well. Like I said, a bunch of recolors of things. I thought we had this Juggernaut mount already. Don't we already have this colorway? I'm pretty sure we did get this colorway at some point already from the Scorpion mount. A Fell Iron Juggernaut mount. That one I don't think I've seen before. We got some Kite mount as well. A couple new Mushan mounts. These don't look too bad. And again, all of these are going to be available on your retail account. You loot any of these, you're going to be able to get them. This one looks great. The Reigns of the August Phoenix. Damn, this one looks really nice actually. This is probably one of the better ones that they've made available here. We got some different Pterodaxis. Yeah, the different pterodactyl basically of WoW. So a couple of different colorways of these as well. So the Mogushan mounts here look pretty nice. We see a tiger mount as well. Reigns of the Purple Shadowpan Rain Tiger. Damn, this one looks pretty crazy. That mask on the front kind of looks janked. I'm not gonna lie, like they have to fix it or something. But yeah, that's an interesting looking Night Saber. A couple new Yak mounts as well. Looks like 3 different colorways of the Yak mount. We got the Windsteed here. So a bunch of new mount colorways and versions that we're gonna be able to get. Some other mounts have been data mined as well, but we're unsure as to where you're gonna get these from or what they are. These look more like modern game mounts, but I'm not sure how we're gonna get them yet. There is a really cool take on the wolf, which is it looks like a night elf, some night elf armor on a typical Horde wolf mount, and we're also getting a Horde Night Saber mount. So 2 typical, you know, Alliance or Horde mounts that have flip sides in terms of factions here now. There are no more factions in WoW, so does that really matter now? We also getting an Old God Goldfish. Yeah, this one actually looks really cool, like the N'Zoth Goldfish from the cinematics here. Maybe a Return of N'Zoth. Who knows what this is hinting at? This N'Zoth looking goldfish, Old God Goldfish, looks pretty cool. And then we get a Goblin Surfboard as well. This one actually is pretty nice too. So the Goblin Surfboard probably uses a lot of the same animations as the disc mounts, but this is one of the few surfboards. You can relive your dreams as the Silver Surfer. Here, yeah, I do want the Goblin Surfboard. That one does look pretty cool. A couple new pets. We've seen the little Manny before. This one, Baby Naga. This is an interesting one. Are we going to get Naga back in the game soon? I'm sure we are. Obviously, the Naga are going to be involved at some point with all the Old God stuff going on. We see a Baby Yak. And then one little side note here, the Illyria statue in front of Stormwind has been updated. So I think Illyria is going to be a big part. Obviously, that's not saying something crazy. So updating her statue sounds like it's about time to do so. A bunch of new weapons and armor as well will be coming from this thing. Looks like a Void Naga. You're kind of right. Yeah, but aren't all Naga kind of Void Nagas? I mean, that's why they are Nagas. Weapons. We see a bunch of weapons here as well. Some interesting little transmogs. Oh, wow, there's a recolor here of this one. Yeah, another nice looking weapon. Different armor sets here. We see some interesting looking. You want to be a scuba diver? Yeah, sure. A bunch of new cloaks as well. Wow, a lot of cloaks. I do like this one. Different bullseye backpacks. You want to, you know, have that look of being shot in the back by Sylvanas after she betrayed us and ruined all the lore in the game? Well, now you can visualize that with that arrow backpack there. And then this one, oh yeah, if you're not a panda with this, I don't know what you're doing, but look at that. Look at the chicken on the back. I'm sure that chicken will be animated as well. And then if you've always wanted to be the panda on the front of the expansion, right? You've always wanted to have that look. Well, here you go. You could finally be the panda with the little chunk taken out of the hat there with this transmog. Every panda in the game should get this one. It's going to be important. And last but not least here, you know, another thing coming out here in 10.2.7 with all the time running pandemonium, remix, whatever you want to call it, we're also getting a new Harbinger questline. So it makes sense that we are getting a new Zalateth model in game. So we've seen this model kind of right in the cutscene cinematic stuff stuff that we already got for the War Within, but we have yet to see what her model is going to look like. So here she is, Zalateth in the flesh. We are getting this new model of her. We're going to do a Harbinger quest line. That's part of what's coming in 10.2.7, which has to do with Zalateth. So we're going to interact with her maybe, or see some kind of visions or something. Yeah, the outfit's pretty good. I do agree. This is exactly what she's wearing in those cinematics. This looks pretty good. One interesting thing that I've always noticed from her model, if you take a closer look, doesn't it look like she has some kind of like bronze dragon, hourglass, void-esque thing on her belt here? I don't know what that means. Obviously, we have noticed for a while now that she's been time traveling between our current timeline and the Season of Discovery timeline. Maybe she has some other time traveling abilities that we don't even know about yet. Also, it kind of looks like her dagger, you know, the original way we saw her there, two of them stacked on top of each other. Moving on to the Heritage armor, which we're also getting. Trolls and Draenei getting their Heritage armor in the 10.2.7 questline as well, and the troll one looks very trolly. Yeah, we're not getting trolled by this one. Definitely fits the vibe of the trolls. It's a cool looking one. It definitely works with them. They get two different colorways of it, it looks like, so this red and this golden version of it. You'll be able to go do this Heritage armor questline, obviously, and get them when 10.2.7 goes live. We're also getting Draenei ones. So when I first looked at the Draenei one, honestly, I was kind of like, I don't know if it's that good. But on a deeper look, it is hyper detailed. So that's kind of cool. One thing that I didn't like about it was I didn't feel like it looked like something that came from like the core original Draenei. It kind of looked like a, I don't know, like a refugee set. You know, it looks like it would come from the Draenei that crash landed on Azeroth rather than the ones that came from Draenor. So we got a lot of cloths here wrapped over. I do like this cloth going over the shoulder and coming down. I think that's a pretty good, cool look. I like what they did with the way the belt works and everything and how it just looks like a single piece of cloth. That's a pretty cool take on an armor set. The shoulders and gloves, I think you'll be able to use a lot of on other transmogs. Overall, it's not bad. I've seen other ones that I kind of like more, but it looks like we're going to get two different colorways on this. The purple one is more Draenei-ish. But overall, I mean, the big thing that we're going to get out of this is obviously this remix thing. And what does it mean for WoW going forward? I feel like they're going to be doing this a lot more now. These whole things, these like extra events that they're doing in the game, they really are all about just kind of filler content. And one thing about this one is it's really a way for people to level alts. I don't think anybody who's new to the game is going to do this. Anyone who's just jumping into WoW for the first time is going to level up this way. And I don't know if they'd even be able to. All you need right now is a WoW sub. You do not actually have to own the War Within. You don't have to own Dragonflight or anything like that. You just need to have a WoW sub, just like Plunderstorm, and you'll be able to play this thing. Even if you don't have a WoW sub, you can actually do a trial version of this up to level 20. But in order to play all the way through it, you'll need a WoW sub. So to me, this seems like some kind of new alt leveling event. You know, with war bands coming in the War Within, alts are going to be a big thing, of course. This seems like a new way they're going to do this. I bet you this isn't the last we're going to see of something like this. They're probably going to do stuff like this for every expansion. We'll get a remix of the Wrath of the Lich King, I'm sure, at some point. People will be able to go through and level up their alts in a speedy way.